The male is king, the male is supreme, and the women should know that.
Northeast of San Diego at the San Diego Country Estates. The road is not even finished yet, but all morning long, the Rolls Royces and the chauffeured limousines have been bringing the celebrities to see this most talked about match in the history of tennis.
I think that if you're competing seriously all the time, Margaret Court will have an edge.
I've got to go with Bobby in this match. He's a great player. He's
Got anything nice to say about Bobby Riggs at this point?
No, not really.
Someone of Margaret's, stature. I think Margaret's playing the best tennis of her life, and I think Bobby Riggs is living on his past. He's 55 years old. I'd be surprised if he wouldn't have a coronary right there, but I really, truly believe that Margaret will win.
I think that it's very exciting, and I believe that Margaret Court will beat Bobby Riggs.
Three-time Wimbledon champion, four times women's single champion in the United States, winner of the Grand Slam of tennis, and the current leading money winner on the Women's Pro Tour. From Australia, meet Margaret Court. Twice a United States singles champion, also a winner at Wimbledon. A man who in 1967 was enshrined into the Tennis Hall of Fame. Colorful and controversial Bobby Riggs. See, he's not such a bad guy after all.
It surprised me that she couldn't get in on my serve, and it surprised me that she couldn't get in more on her own serve. She just didn't find the right combination to come in on.
My concentration was bad today, and I've been concentrating really well, in the last 6 months or so, and I sort of saw everything going on around the court today, which is very unusual for me.
She arrived here with the whole pressure of the women's world on her. Casals and that whole group had $30,000 to bet on her. I only hope they got accommodated. That's all I can tell you.
And she announced to me that they're playing, that they're going to play this match. And I go, oh, Margaret, do you know what you've done? As soon as I heard that she lost, I go, I'm going to have to play him now. That's exactly what I said. I'm going to have to play him now.
What was the year? I mentioned you were what? Were you 24 when you took everything at Wimbledon?
No, I was about 21.
21 years of age. And you won the men's singles, the doubles, and mixed doubles, and the mixed doubles.
The feminist thing, how important is that, Billy?
The women's movement is important to me, as long as it stays practical. And I think that the women's movement is really making a better life for more people other than just women. And I feel very strongly about it from that point of view.
I plan to bomb Billie Jean King in this match and set back women's lib movement about another 20 years.
I picked Bobby to win in 3 sets or 4 sets.
I favor Bobby Riggs.
I think Riggs will win.
I hope Billie Jean King does. Billie Jean King.
There's no way that a good woman can beat a fairly good man. There are 500 college players in America that can beat Billie Jean King, in my opinion.
I think Billie Jean.
You do?
Yeah. She plays a very aggressive game. She's very fast, and she plays, as some people say, very much like a man.
A wild scene almost reminiscent of college football, with the celebrities present, with the big band here, with dancing cheerleaders and all of the rest. That's the way it is for the battle of the sexes, Billie Jean King against Bobby Riggs.
Girls play a nice game of tennis for girls, but when they get out there on a court with a man, even a tired old man of 55, they're going to be in big trouble.
Rosie, whom do you pick tonight?
Well, I predict Billie Jean will win in 3 sets, 6-3, 6-4, 6-3.
Look at that male chauvinist pig that symbolizes what Bobby Riggs is holding up there, Rosie. Somebody vying for a Hollywood screen test. There she is. Now, earlier today, just
A former #1 player who was one of my heroes, so I knew all about him. He knew nothing about me.
And we're back live in the Astrodome, and you see the mountain. Bobby Riggs, he's being brought in. Billie Jean King has come in earlier in the colorful
'cause it only serves to make me more determined to achieve.
A lot of times we know it's the right thing to do, and I knew it was the right thing to do. I knew all I could do was help if I wanted.
It's a fact, isn't it, that if they were both males, if Billie Jean King were a male, she actually excels over Riggs in such matters as velocity and hitting the ball. Is that true?
There's no question. If you had one of these grip tests, or if you had a high jump test or a broad jump test, Billie Jean would win them all. Third match point for Billie Jean King.
Looks a little like Mark.
The more you know about history, the more you know about yourself. But more importantly, it helps you shape the future. And I do love history too, and I like to make history. So.
I am woman, watch me grow, see me standing toe to toe.
We're making and living history every day. And I don't think people think about it like that. They think, oh, the history's in the past. Not really. Every minute, every tick that goes by, we're making history. Women could not even get a credit card on their own in those days. A lot of women come up and they never thought about themselves enough. It's like, oh, maybe I can do something. Yeah, you can. It's like everyone doesn't realize their potential, really.
But I mean, if it wasn't for you playing, it sounds very silly. It's
no,
a little
they said
thing.
they got the courage from the match. They said, we saw you win, and they thought, we've been wanting to ask for a raise for 10 years, and a group of us finally went and asked. And I said, well, more importantly, did you get the raise? And they said, yes.